Hi everybody, it's Catherine from In the Pink Designs. My project today is a pretty large box. It measures 5 by 3 3/4 by 1 1/4. Alrighty, and it will fit, it will fit a full box of crayons with some extra space. So if you can go off of that, it will fit 3 bottles of our glue. I think I am going to be putting just a pretty hanky. Just going to put a pretty hanky in there and a gift card. But it'll fit lots of treats too. I use the Petal Park stamp set along with the Petal Park Builder Punch. Alright, and it cuts out these 3 flowers here. I use the Country Lane Floral DSP, nope, Country Floral Lane, sorry, DSP, along with the Deckled Rectangle dies for the image. And for the sentiment, I use the rectangle stitch dies. Alrighty. So what we need for this project is a piece of Balmy Blue that is 10.5 by 8 1/4. Alrighty. We need a deckled rectangle out of basic white that is it's about 3 7/8 by 2 1/2. Okay, if you don't have the deckled rectangle dies. I need a little one for the sentiment that is about 1 5/8 by 1 1/8. That's from the stitched rectangle dies. We need a mat for the deckled rectangle out of Balmy Blue, and it is 4 1/8 by 2 3/4. Of the Country Floral Lane DSP, we need 2 pieces that are 4 3/4 by 3 1/2, 2 pieces that are 4 3/4 by 1, and 2 pieces that are 3 1/2 by 1. Alrighty. This is my host code. If you're going to spend anything under $150, please put that in, and I can send everybody that does a little something. Alright, I'm going to get my Simply Scored, and we're going to start on the 10.5 inch side. And we're going to score at 1 1/4, 5, 6 1/4, and 10. Then we're going to turn it to the 8 1/4 inch side, and we're going to score at 1 1/4, 6 1/4, and 7 1/2. Alrighty, now I'm going to fold and burnish all of the score lines. Okay. So how I have this is the skinniest rectangle is on the right hand side. That is 1/2. There is a 3/4 inch strip on the top and 1 1/4 inch strips on the left and the bottom. And this is what we're going to do. Okay, so we're going to start on the left hand side. We're going to go to the first score line, cut it to the first score line, and then wedge each side of the square. We're going to go to the next score line, cut it to the first score line, next score line, cut it to the first score line, and wedge each side of the square. Then we're going to go to the next score line, cut it to the first score line, and wedge up into that skinny rectangle. Alright, now we're going to turn it to the other long side, and we're going to get rid of 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4 rectangles actually. We're going to get rid of them. So we're going to go to the second score line and cut it to the second score line, and then we're going to take all this off. Okay, then we're going to go to the next score line, cut it to the second score line. We're going to get rid of this rectangle on the bottom, and wedge each side of the square. Okay, we're going to go to the next score line, cut it to the second score line, get rid of this rectangle on the bottom, and wedge each side of the square. Okay, and then after that we're going to get a corner rounder, and the 1/2 inch rectangle's on the right now. And this is our top flat. We want to round the corners of both sides of this highest point. And this is a 1/2 inch, but you could use whichever one you want. And this is what your cardstock should look like after you're done scoring it and cutting it. Alrighty, now I'm going to get some tear and tape, and I'm going to put the tear and tape down right next to the score line on what's left of this skinny rectangle here. I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool to get the backing off, and then just roll any extra on the edges over. Okay, we're going to flip over the whole thing, flip over the part with the tape, and flip the other side to meet it. Okay, so now this is our back where the tab goes in the box. Oops. There we go. This is our back here. So we're going to put the tabs down, and I want you to put a little bit of liquid glue on the tabs. And then we're going to put the back down. Then I want you to put glue on the back of the front flap here. And just hold it a second. Okay, and then open it back up and make sure that you press down on those tabs so we make sure that they go down and get adhered. Alrighty. And that is your box. Okie doke. Now comes the DSP. Okay, so we have 2 pieces that are 4 3/4 by 3 1/2 are going to go on the front and the back. And 2 pieces 4 3/4 by 1 on the long side, and 2 pieces 3 1/2 by 1 on the short sides. And I'm going to use liquid glue. Alright, now we're going to get our Deckled Rectangle that is about 3 7/8 by 2 1/2. And I'm going to first stamp the leaves. I'm going to do the outline first, and we need some scrap paper for stamping off. So I'm going to use Pear Pizzazz for both the outline and the inside. So I'm just going to stamp it up, ink it up, and how do we want this? I'm going to just do it long ways, just like this. Okay, great. And then I'm going to get the inside, and I'm also stamping it up with Pear Pizzazz ink, and I'm going to stamp off once, and then I'm going to fill it in. Okay. Now we need, I'm sorry if I forgot to tell you, we need an extra piece of basic white. Alrighty, so we need our scrap again. Okay, so I'm going to stamp the outlines. Okay, and then the insides I'm going to stamp off with Balmy Blue. I'm just going to try to get that nice and even where it's supposed to go. And even if you're a little off, it's okay. It looks good. All right. Those 2, and then we need this little rectangle from the Stitched Rectangles dies, and it's 1 5/8 by 1 1/8. And I used this Be My Valentine from Share a Milkshake stamp set. If you don't have it, you could use whatever Valentine sentiment you want, but that's the one I'm using. And I'm using Night of Navy ink. I'm just going to try to get this nicely in there. Good. Okay, now that's all our stamping. Now we want to cut out our flowers using the Petal Park Builder Punch. And it will cut out a little leaf too if you want that. Alright, and then I'm going to use liquid glue, and I'm going to put the large one right here. I'm going to put the medium size one right up there, and the small one right over here. Okay. You could use dimensionals for these too if you want to. going to tuck this one a little bit under there. And then this one right here. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to take this rectangle that I just cut freehand, and it is 4 1/8 by 2 3/4, and I'm just going to attach the deckled rectangle onto that. But you could use just 2 rectangles that you cut too if you don't have the deckled rectangles. Okay. Now we're going to bring our box back in. Make sure you have the right side here. Here it is. Okay, I'm going to open up my flap, and I'm going to use whatever small hole punch circle punch you have, and I'm just going to take a little partial circle out of it so that it's easier to open and close. Alright, and then just make sure that that's on your right. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this Balmy Blue and White double stitched ribbon, and we're going to tie it on the left side of the box. And we want the bow to be at the top. You could at the top of the front, but if you put it on top, that's fine too. And this one's a little bit harder to tie because it's not double faced. But if you keep twisting it around, then you're good. So this one, I want to go this way. There we go. Okie doke. And then we're going to put some dimensionals on this. And I'm just going to center this over the box. If you have to adjust your bow up or down, that's okay. Okay, you can't really tell, but it is Night of Navy. It's a really dark, dark blue. Alright, so we're going to attach that about right here. So we need a skinny strip of dimensional on the right side and on the bottom. So I'll just cut this up. This one here. And that one there. And then I'm just going to put some base liquid glue right up here. Alright, and then we're just going to place it right there. So the dimensionals will hold it up, and then the glue will hold it onto this. Alright, and for the final touch, I'm going to use some Milky dots. And we're going to use the Night of Navy ones. So I'm going to put... Ooh, this is the first time in 3 years I've had to change my little grabber, this end of the take your pick tool. So I'm going to put a large one in the large flower, and then 2 little ones in the smaller flowers. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, my email is below. I will be putting a picture of me and my beautiful godson and his mommy and little sister on my Facebook page if you want to go take a look. It's In the Pink Designs by Catherine Paper Crafts group, and you can join. It's just an open group. You don't have to answer any questions or anything. This is my host code if you're going to purchase anything under $150. The link to my shop is below, along with the link to my blog, and also the link to join if you'd like to join my team. Alrighty, have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye.